Hey everyone, Tin Man here with an internal draft. This pack has got some pretty solid cards to start us off. Nothing amazingly bomb-worthy. I mean, Foraging Sauropod I think is going to be the pick. Our rares, Iceberg Mason is really just a 2-cost 2/3. Its extra text is not terribly relevant. Unless you have a really heavy Yeti deck and then you don't care about, missing your power because it could potentially push down the power in your deck if you're already short. Sauropod is a very strong card in one of the strongest colors. I think Time is up there with Justice as probably the two strongest colors right now. Repulsive Gorger is also pretty solid playable, but I think Shadow as a color is a kind of a step below some of the other factions right now. Trailmaker is also quite solid in terms of time, but I think Sauropod is a much better payoff card, whereas Trailmaker is just a solid card that'll be in every deck. Which means you could have an argument for consistency picking up Trailmaker, because it'll go into every time deck no matter what. Whereas Foraging Sauropod is really only good in a dinosaur deck, but dinosaurs as an archetype is quite powerful. Other cards of interest here, Vainglory Patrol is just a solid flyer. Actually, I wouldn't say solid. It's a little on the weaker end of as far as flyers go. And once again, it's in Shadow, which is, if I was wanting to go in Shadow, I'd pick up the Gorger. I think Sauropod has the highest upside to kind of be paying off for a draft here. So let's pick that up, and hopefully we can go into some dinosaurs here. Probably Elysian colors is really where we want to be. Of course, we got to be flexible to be able to adapt that if the cards don't bear that out. So here, this pack is quite weak. They took a rare out of it. Presumably it was a very strong bomb. It's a very weak bomb, though. Tumble Bang. It is a bomb in the most technical sense, but not really what we're looking for in this deck. I'm struggling to even think what's the best card, period. Probably would be Freewing Glider, and that's pretty lackluster. Ageless Sentinel, First Shot Rioters are good in their respective decks. Soaring Guard and Crown Watch Legionnaire are cards you're okay to have one or two of, but you don't really want too many of these low impact guys. Like a 1/2 doesn't really trade with much, same with a 1/3. Both of them are quite good to hold weapons because the flying and the combination of endurance and lifesteal make for good targets for buffs. But I think considering we picked a time card, there's no dinosaurs here. Let's just try to stay on color, pick Ageless Sentinel. This is a card, I mean, it's just fine body. It's going to make your deck every time. Here we've got the option of Trailmaker, which, as I was kind of mentioning initially, is, it's better than Ageless Sentinel, but it fills the similar kind of idea where it's a solid pickup that'll make your deck every time. It's not a big payoff, but it's a nice enabler, a nice consistency card. I think the card with the highest upside in this pack is probably Valkyrie Cadet. She does really well in decks that can throw weapons on her, but it's quite fragile and kind of puts your eggs into one basket. And she generally wants to be in Rakano colors or possibly like Stone Scar, where you have a lot of access to, or not Stone Scar, Argentport rather, where you have access to a lot of other weapons outside of just green. Red and Shadow weapons are quite good. But I think Trailmaker is just the solid, consistent pickup here. It stays on color, and we'll figure out what our next color wants to be. Hopefully, I want it to be Primal, if we can pick up some good Primal cards. But, of course, things could change. So here we've got a nice Sentinel. Time-Worn Sentinel is fine. Backpacker's Machete is actually a really good common for red. It's actually one of their few good commons. Strategize is an all-around solid pickup. Does put us into that second color. Second color we kind of wanted to be in anyway. I'm not terribly upset about missing out on a Time-Worn Sentinel. This is a card, like, we're trying to get into dinosaurs more. Then missing out on Sentinel is not the biggest deal. Time-Worn Sentinel is better in Praxis, really, where you have like Sentinel synergies like Wandering Forge. So I think the pick is probably Strategize from this pack. I think it's the highest upside kind of card. And then we see this pack. So this pack has two cards and two very different cards. I mean, obviously it's got the Time-Worn Sentinel and Vainglory Patrol, which are just, you know, mediocre. Panoptic Guardian is way too small for what its cost is. It's rare that you're going to ambush something with a 2/5 and actually get significant value. You're going to kill like a 2/2. At which point, you know, great, your 6-drop killed a 2/2. Consider me unimpressed. The card I'm actually really interested in here is Voracious Fosora and Extinguish. Or the cards, rather. Voracious Fosora is a nice card in a bond-heavy dinosaur deck. Which I know we don't have too many bonds just yet. But it's actually a very key linchpin. These kind of decks have a tendency to go a little too heavy in the late game. They have a lot of 5, 6, 7, or 10 cost dinosaurs. And they really struggle in the early game. And Voracious Fosora actually helps that quite a bit. Being 4 power, it'll definitely trade with a lot of things early on. Unlike other Reckless units, like the 2-drop Yeti, the 2/2 Yeti with Reckless, the Voracious Fosora is a big enough threat that they're inclined to trade with it. They might get some value, say blocking it with something like a Copper Hull Porter or another 2-drop. So they might get to trade up with it in worst case scenario, but at least it's trading. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to play a 5 power or 5 toughness rather thing right away and be able to get value out of it if you don't have a buff or another bond effect. I say that with Ageless Sentinel being one of the few good answers that come down around the same time as Fosora. I think I've just talked myself into picking it. Although Extinguish is quite a strong card and should not be discounted. It's a very strong kill spell. Kind of puts us closer to Xenan. I guess Strategize isn't really holding us into Primal. But I think a deck that wants to play Sauropod wants to be playing Primal. And I think Voracious Fosora is a good enough pick. But if you're saying, if someone watching this is saying, hey, we should be picking Extinguish here, I'm not going to argue too heavily against it. But I think the kind of deck that I'm hoping to craft out of this, I think we want the Fosora for it. Yeah, let's pick up a second one. These cards generally don't get too much better in multiples. There's another big payoff. We could have had double Valkyrie Cadet, but we just really weren't set up at any point to go for the kind of Voltron strategy where you build up one huge unit. Just pick up another Fosora. And hopefully we can find some dinosaur payoffs. Nothing here really for us. I mean, Cryptic Etchings is not an unplayable card. But I think I'd rather just pick up a Waystone. I'm not sure which one's better. Let's go for the gain 2 life, I suppose. Facey just is so rarely relevant and limited. There's our big payoff. A fishing Dinoch this late is really good news for us. Obviously, Yeti Windflyer is really good on color, but for the deck we're looking at, fishing Dinoch is exactly... We want as many of these guys as we can get. A 5-cost 6/6 is just so powerful. Obviously, I'd be happy to pick up a Yeti Windflyer as well, but come on. Dinoch is why we're playing this deck. And the fact that it's a common means we probably can get a couple of them. Let's pick up the Waystone. Disjunction's not really useful in limited. A very late Ageless Sentinel and a very late Duskwalker as well. Man, Duskwalker is actually, in my opinion, quite a bit better than Ageless Sentinel. Obviously, it gets the +2 power, so if you just play it on 4 and then you untap, have a power, you can play a 7-drop on turn 5. Am I really missing out on that much for Ageless Sentinel as opposed to hedging my bets if for some reason Primal doesn't work out? I don't think I'm really missing out too much on a second Sentinel here. 4-drops are easy to come by, and this is still a 4-drop. I think I'm going to pick up the Duskwalker as just a higher upside in case Primal doesn't work out for whatever reason. It just dries up in packs 2 and 3 and Shadow comes flowing in. Another Waystone, not bad. And a last pick Fosora. People definitely underestimate that card, I think. And I accidentally almost just clicked on that Talon Nostrix there, which would have been pretty bad. Always make sure after you pick the last thing to not just idly be clicking your mouse, because otherwise you might accidentally click off what you want to pick. So, this pack. The rare Bloodletter is amazing. We're not in any of its two colors, unfortunately. Island's Choice is fine. It's a good removal spell. It's worse than Vanquish most of the time. Oasis Seeker is actually a really good 2-drop, and 2-drops are kind of hard to come by. Xenan Banner would help with a splash of Duskwalker. I don't really see a reason to try to make Bloodletter work. Let's just pick up the all-around super solid 2-drop in Oasis Seeker, since we know we're playing time. This pack, man, I kind of wish we'd been in Argenport, huh? Oh, man, this pack stinks. It really just stinks for us. Victor's Cry, I mean, is a great card. Actually, now I'm thinking about Champion Vengeance. Isn't even all that great of a card. It's just kind of an understated unit. I guess Jotun Cyclops is a fine 4-drop if we're playing Primal. It's not insane, but there's the best card in the pack, I think. We don't really have enough to make Life Force work. We really have to build one Waystone as the only way to gain life. Or I guess Oasis Seeker. There might be a combo there. No, I think actually Jotun Cyclops is a perfectly reasonable card to be having. More so than Disciplined Emanera. Let's pick up the Cyclops. So here's... Well, I guess... There's not too many great cards. There's a good 2-drop. Skycrag Stranger is one of our colors. Battle Tested Stranger is a 5-cost 4/4. Potentially buffs our opponent's units. Or potentially buffs ours if we draft some Strangers. Is that better than just an all-around, you know, half-on color Skycrag Stranger? I don't think so. I think the 2-drop is probably where we want to be. You know, this really doesn't have the upside. It's a 5-cost 4/4. Unimpressed. Hopefully we pick up a couple more Dinochs late in pack 4 to kind of shore up our 5-drop spot. And having some early game kind of interaction is pretty solid. I don't think the deck is aggressive enough to take advantage of Ice Knuckle Jotun. Let's check out the Skycrag Stranger. I see we should be in Xenan here, apparently. Blister Sting Wasp is quite strong, but is it really stronger than Sand Viper? I'd be getting rid of my Voracious Ferozas, essentially, if I switch over to Xenan. Which, I mean, we don't have tons of dinosaurs. We really only have one Bond dinosaur. But the Bond dinosaurs really come out in pack 4, so hopefully we can pick up a couple Mantisaurs and another Sauropod or something. I don't think the difference between Blister Sting Wasp and Sand Viper is too great to kind of really pull me back into Xenan. Let's pick up the Sand Viper. Amaran Archaeologist is not bad. It's better. I think it's better than trying to splash a Bring Down. Let's pick up the Archaeologist. He can help us to play an early game if we get there. Should have been in Argenport, huh? Some really good Argenport stuff coming around late. But really nothing here of note. Viper's Bite is just not good. I'm going to pick up the Blood Call Invoker, I guess, in case, once again, you know, Shadow comes up huge and we want to abandon all of these blue cards. Denouncer, Jesus. I mean, is it too late to swap to Shadow? But, like, I mean, not, like, we'd have to swap 2 colors to get into Argenport, which would just not be good. Let's just pick up Xenan Stranger. It actually helps if we're going to swap over to Xenan. Amethyst Ring and Icequake really aren't where we're looking. Icequake. Now we got way too many guys of our own that died to it. Never unhappy picking up 2-drops. Especially that are at least half on color. Icebow's not a bad card, but it's not a great card either. It's just a very mediocre card. I guess it's combos well with Sand Viper and Deadly units. Is that better than Xenan Banner? I don't exactly know what my second color is. And if I think it's going to be closer to Shadow, we'll pick up Xenan Banner. How much life gain do I even have? It's not a lot, right? It's literally just Oasis Seeker. So I'm not even triggering that Life and Amber Waystone. Now I'll pick up this Icebow. It's actually a good combo with deadly units. I probably won't play another Archaeologist. Probably one is plenty. Do I just hedge my bets and take Umbral Thirster in case we end up in a weird Life Force deck? We still have 2 packs to go. Could happen. Yeah, I'm not likely to play a second Archaeologist. It's a small guy for what it is. People don't have any respect for strangers. I pick these guys pretty highly, and I am happy to have them early on. 2-drop if we really need it. Hey, there's a legendary. And it's so this is where I kind of get myself into trouble drafting for videos like this one, where I'm going to pick the legendary. It's not on color. If I'm picking just to try to win the draft, I think I pick the Polymorph or the Annihilate or Rapid Shot. Probably Annihilate or Polymorph, depending on what color I want to go into more. But the actually constructed deck that I'm building right now does need Caleb Uncrown Prince. I'm trying to make a Charge Rod type deck, and I actually need them, so I was going to craft them. So I will take Caleb, saying I think I should be picking Annihilate or Polymorph here, depending on what faction I want to go into. But that being said, I'm picking the legendary that I actually need for my collection because I don't have all the cards I need. Maybe we should switch to red. Because Caleb and Steelbound Dragon are insane bombs. Really huge bombs. Is it at all feasible to switch to red? I guess I'm not tied into a second color, right? What's my blue cards? Strategize, Fosora? I'd swap those 2 for Steelbound Dragon and Caleb. Hell yeah, I would. We got 2 packs to go. We're probably going to be short on playables, but luckily we picked up a lot of generic playables, the strangers. I think I do. Alright, I'm in. I mean, this is a big bomb. We'll take it. I say that immediately as we get an Ice Sprite, which is really good in blue. No, I think if we're going to be short on playables. Okay, let's see. Are we really going to be short on playables? If we're actually going to go red. Can I go red? What do I pick here? I'd probably pick Amber Acolyte. It's probably a better card, better than Bold Adventurer. But if I'm not going red, if I want to stay in blue, I'd probably pick up the Ice Sprite. Or do I go 3 colors? Is blue really worth it to splash? I'd be splashing off of... I'm not really interested in Shadow. Shadow has lost some of my interest as a color. And Fosora, if we're moving away from a heavy Dino deck, I mean, we still have a Dinoch and a Sauropod. This is actually a tough pick. I think Ice Sprite has a higher upside for sure. But I'm really not 100% convinced I'm going to be playing blue. Like these 2 red cards are just much better than an Ice Sprite. I think I might just pick Amber Acolyte because I know it's going to make the deck, and it's going to make this if I have to like backdoor into a 3-color strategy. Just because I'm short on playables, Amber Acolyte might, it's going to help that. In addition to all the strangers we've got. So I'm going to pick up the Amber Acolyte as a conservative pick here, that it's going to make my deck for sure. Although the higher upside of Ice Sprite and Jarl's Frostkin are definitely, they're better. All right, so, lots and lots of options. The best card in here is Cobalt Acolyte, for sure. Summon to give a guy flying is just always going to be good at every stage of the game for any reason. If I'm playing red and not blue, it's kind of unplayable. I mean, hell, I might just splash for Cobalt Acolyte. It's a good enough card to splash for. It's a card, like, generally my criteria on when to splash is if a card is good early and... Or, sorry, if a card is good late, then it's okay to splash. If it's just a card that's good early, like, you don't really want to splash, like, Fosora. Like, you want your splash cards to be worthy of being able to cast them on, like, turn 7 or 8 and still be good. And Cobalt Acolyte fits that bill. Or I could, you know, completely jump ship on blue and go into red and pick up either a drone or a sharpshooter. Or actually, is it Bladekin Apprentice even any good? I don't think it is. We've got a lot of 2-drops though. I think I'm gonna pick up Acolyte. It's the best card in the pack, and that's by a pretty healthy margin. Xenan Guardian, sign me up. Solid, playable, no matter what my color combination ends up being. Cobalt Acolyte, sign me up. Leaning us more towards blue, but we do have those 2 red bombs. Nesting Avisaur and Wisdom of the Elders, both great cards. Dark Return, also a great card. This pack is just stacked. There's still like 5 cards I'd be happy to pick. Friendly Wisp, Avisaur, Wisdom of the Elders, Combrei Stranger, Dark Return if I was playing black. Is Avisaur just better? And then we just maybe don't even play red. Let's just stay in blue. Stay the course of blue. Don't be tempted by these bombs in the late game. Let's go for quantity over quality. And we've got a lot of fixing. We got a Stranger, a Trailmaker, an Amber Acolyte, an Archaeologist. We might just be able to splash a Dragon. Maybe not Caleb because it's triple red. But splash a Dragon doesn't sound like the worst. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pick up the Avisaur. It's really strong playable. Bolt Adventure, solid 2-drop. We've got a lot of 2-drops, though. Nothing here I'm interested in playing. I'm just going to pick up the rarest card for disenchant value. Second Sight, not really what I'm interested in because we didn't get any of the Echo cards. Unfortunately, we didn't find any Petriax Hatchlings, which are the real draw of playing Elysian. So I'm not really playing that. Probably not playing that Sky either. Alright, so that pack was a... I'm going into pack 4, I don't even know what my 2 colors are. I know what one of them is. We're definitely playing Time. The other color, up for debate. And then we get this pack. There is not a whole lot good here. Not in any of the 3 colors we're really considering. Scourstone Sentinel is good if you have a lot of Sentinels, but we don't really have that many. We have Ageless Sentinel. Go fish. That's it. So that's probably not what we're looking to pick up. I think the best card in this pick is, I mean, Hot Barrel Revolver if you're in that kind of a deck. Tandem Watchwing and Spirit Blade Stalker are good Justice cards. Is it literally just pick up Gloaming Wisp as just a guy? Sure. This pack is real bad. Ooh, here's some good stuff in Time. Bane Serasaur is a dinosaur, which is probably better than... No, we probably want Creeper. Or Trailmaker. Trailmaker if we're really dedicated to try to splash these red cards on our top end, which we might need to, because our top end is not very imposing right now. If we take these 2 out, our top end goes to, like, Sauropod, which is a good top end, but we need more than just one. Nocturnal Creeper, though, combos with Icebow really well. Because Still have to see Deadly. I do have a Sand Viper to combo with it right now. Bane Serasaur just triggers Dinosaur Ally a bit better. I can really see the case for all three of those cards, all three of these picks. I think we're just going to be short. How many playables am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 is 19 power. So I really don't need too many more playables. So if I'm picking up playables, I have to start cutting cards. I haven't seen any Mantisaurs yet, which makes me like less encouraged about playing Sauropod as my top end. I just have less dinosaurs, less dinosaur allies. I guess I have a lot of Ferocious to trigger dinosaur ally. Maybe I don't need Bane Serasaur. I don't have too much removal though, which is what leads me towards Nocturnal Creeper. Like, I really don't have any removal. Elysian decks generally don't have hard removal, other than Icebow combo with Sand Viper. I guess I'm not playing Trail Runner. That's pretty bad. 2-drop. Oh, this is a rough one. I think I've ruled out the Serasaur, but I wouldn't be unhappy to have it in the deck. I think we've got enough. We don't really have enough splashing to play both Steelbound Dragon and Caleb without picking up the Trailmaker. If I do pick up Trailmaker, then I think we can do it. Or is Nocturnal Creeper just the disciplined safe pick here? I think it might be Nocturnal Creeper. Just because we don't have ways to remove opposing units. If they just play a big guy, we're up a creek without a paddle here. And this guy gives us another Icebow target. Alright, I really wish I could pick both these other cards, but I think Nocturnal Creeper is the pick that makes the most sense here. Based on the texture of our deck. Immediately punished, because I would have obviously preferred to have a Trailmaker plus a Creeper here, instead of having 2 Creepers. And I think the Creeper's better than Yeti Furflinger. Is it, though? Maybe Furflinger is better. I could probably get triple Primal on like turn 3 or 4 a lot of the times, because I've got Stranger, Trailmaker. Nah, I'd still rather just go for the consistent Creeper. Yeti Furflinger is like... he's hard to cast on turn 3, which is just my big concern with him. I'll pick up the Nocturnal Creeper. Alright, so it looks like our interest in playing dinosaurs is starting to pay off. So Bellowing Thunderfoot is a great card. You want as many of as you can get. Solid pickup. I don't really have enough to make Savage Skybrood work, right? I only have... we got a lot of dinosaurs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not really enough. But I'm not really interested in playing any of these other cards, no matter what our deck ends up looking like. So I'll just pick it up. Another Thunderfoot, sign me up. Although Yeti Windflyer is not bad either. Hey, there's our Bane Serasaur. We can still pick him up. If we had more Yetis, we'd definitely pick up Slope Sergeant, but we don't. Serasaur. Man, I'm starting to regret not picking that Trailmaker now. We could have had 2 other Nocturnal Creepers. But still, with the fact that we have an Icebow, means I want as many of these deadly 2-drops as I can get. Or do I want another Bay? I'm probably cutting the Skybrood. If I'm playing this many 2-drops, I'm probably cutting like the completely off-color Stranger. Actually, I don't have any completely off-color Stranger. Nah, I'll just pick up Nocturnal Creeper. The more the merrier. Lost in the Mist, I guess, is like fringe playable. I'm not going to be playing Cryptic Etchings in this deck, I don't think. We've got enough other top end. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. So let's build out this deck here. Are we... Well, let's cut all the crap first. The crap that we got at the end. Lost the Mist probably out. Monolith Guardian's out. Okay, so this is the non-crap. So we basically have 10, 13 power here. So I want to be playing 18 or 19. Probably just 18, because we've got a lot of other power sources in terms of Trailmaker, Ember Acolyte, Archaeologist. Let's snow for it out of here. Gloaming Wisp is probably not really where we want to be. Can probably cut some 2-drop that we're not interested in. Depends on if we want to play red or not. So I guess that's our next decision. So right now I'm at 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 power, so I need to cut 3 more cards. Which obviously could be just very easy, cut both red cards. But both red cards are very powerful. But they're very influence heavy. So maybe we just cut Kalo and Crown Prince, because really he's just an 8-cost 6/6 charge with a random weapon. Which, you know, could be just bad. And he costs triple red, so it's pretty hard. Steelbound Dragon, I think I can afford to keep double red in by turn 8. Like I said, we've got a Stranger, we've got a Trailmaker, we've got Acolyte, we've got Archaeologist. Fortunately, no like banners to really cast them. Oh well, I think it's worth it. And then next, I'm looking at the 2-drop spot to make a cut. What's the worst 2-drop in this lineup? Probably like Xenan Stranger. Do I have any... I'm going to be heavier on time than Primal. So I think I could afford to cut a time one. Actually, do I have any double Primal requirements? I have double Primal here, double time there. Double Primal on the top end. So I have, what, 1 card that requires double time? Yeah, I can cut a time influence. And then our Strangers are just like our off colors. What else do I cut? 1 more card? Because this would be 17 power. Maybe cut 1 of the Ferozas. They're good to bond into Thunderfoots, but we've got a lot of other good 3-drops to be playing. Amber Acolyte, Icebow, Bane, Serasaur. I don't know if we need 3. With 3 of them, we potentially have too many to utilize them, and eventually they'll just suicide themselves into an opposing X5. Alright, does this power base make sense? 6, 6. No, it does not. Cut 1 there, add 1 there. I think 3 Fire Sigils make sense. We only ever need 2 total, but I want to have a couple extra. We don't have particularly difficult color requirements. We just have like single on most of our influence, and then like a double time, double Primal here. All right, so deck looks pretty solid. It's got, you know, an Ice Bomb. It's got very strong 2-drop early game. Hopefully we can, you know, pull some games out with this. Check out the gameplay video and see how we do.